So today we're going to go through how to make an invoice in under 60 seconds using an automated invoice template. Let's go. Let's start up with our invoice template. I've just made it a bit bigger so we can all have a look. And we have our how to use as well as all the instructions that we need to complete it. Now let's start off with the main invoice. Let's just make it a bit bigger so we can see it a bit better. So you can see first and foremost in the corners that there are different guidelines to help with filling out the sheet in case you get stuck. And let us start with looking at the different classifications. So first of all, let's do the date and let's do the invoice number. And we're also going to then fill out the from details, which in this case will be yourself who is invoicing the client. And then we also need to do the customer information as well, including the full name, email, telephone number, address, and postcodes. So let's get all of that done and out of the way. The terms and conditions are also there by default, and by default it is written as 14 days, so we're going to change that to 7 days. Payment should be made through 7 days, but you can always easily change that depending on your needs and requirements. We're also then going to add in the details for payment, and we're going to get started with the classifications. So when we go to the first one, we can see that it is known as certification, which is the default one that has been put there. And we can easily change it by just writing in what our new description is for the genre of job. For example, let's say that the classification is called large jobs, and let's write a description of bricklaying. So we can see as soon as we change it on A1 that the column C has now changed to large jobs for all of the ones that you now put. In this example, we're going to be doing for electricians. So we are going to change the classification to certification and write down all of the certificates we have, including the price range and points that we have for each respective job. Let's write EICR, and you can automatically see that the classification shows up and the allocated code shows up. More on that later. Now, let's also add the next ones: emergency lighting, EIC, and fire alarm system inspection. Now, let's add in our rates, which include hourly rates, new installation, alterations, and replacements. You'll see that they have a specific letter allocated for each. We'll get to that later. Now, let's go to the service summary. What this is a compilation of all of the classifications, classification 1 through to 5. Now, let's go back to our Invoices tab and start doing this very easily. And it's something which you can do in under 60 seconds, definitely, once everything has been set in place. So let's start off with code 1. And then let's use type N. So let's go back and just check it quickly. We know that the price is 120. And now as soon as we insert 1, we can see the description of EICR comes automatically. Now, the price will be displayed as soon as you write in the type. So we are going to write N for new installation. Then we're going to write a quantity of 2. And you can see that the total has already shown up. And we're going to add a discount of £40. Note that the discount must be a negative value for it to have an effect. Otherwise, you're going to be adding values. Now, let's go back to our classifications tab to check on something else. And let's look up fire alarm in system inspection. And let's choose this time the alterations, which cost £10 each. Now, as soon as we write in code 4, the description, fire alarm system inspection comes up. And then now we're going to add in a type for it to then display the price. Now let's go a little bit quicker now. Let's write 3N, which is EIC, and N is a new installation. Now we're going to write quantity of 5. And as we can see, the total is already there. So now, let us now check what each of the other classifications are. So as you can see, there is some there by default to make it easy for everyone to work with. 2, 3, and 4. So 2 is showing domestic work. Number 4 showing industrial work. Number 5 is showing EV chargers. So let's go to classification 4, which is industrial work. It's got an allocation code of 16, which is the one you need to look up. And let's choose replacement, which is R. Let's write 16R. And as you can see, 3-phase board, price is there. Put in your quantity again, put in any discounts. Remember it to be a negative value, and the total shows up. Now, let's start finishing with this invoice. Let's put in a logo. And now let's look at that bonus feature. So as you can see, this is a VAT invoice. So what if your company was not VAT registered? What do you do then? That's not a problem with this invoice template. Let's go to service summary, where we can automatically toggle between VAT and non-VAT mode. We just write an N here. And as you can see, there's no VAT anymore. And it just calculates the subtotal and adds no VAT. And as soon as we write a yes again, a Y, a capital Y, VAT is at a fixed percentage of 20%. And that's really all there is to it. The invoice is now complete. Now let's have a look at one more thing. You see that there is a fixed and allocated code. This is all done automatically with the formulas that are inputted into the Excel file. So let's say I were to get rid of the last one. The final one that's there is 3. So theoretically, classification 2 should start with the number 4. And it does, as you can see, because it automatically finds the value and ensures that it goes in an arithmetical way, an arithmetic sequence where it goes up. And that's all there is for today's YouTube video tutorial on how to do an invoice in 60 seconds. To get this template and many other great ones, check out my link below in the description.